Mesechta Zevachim, Daf Nun Ches Amar Aleph, a new Perek Kotche Kotchim. So I have the picture, but you have a better picture because you have it. I'm going to use my picture and I'm going to use your picture also. Okay, we're ready. Kotche Kotchim, Sheshchotim Bereish HaMizbeach. Kotche Kotchim, that like a oila or chatas, they were makiv on top of the Mizbeach, not on the floor. The chlal from here till here, you usually shacht. So he went and he shachted al gag HaMizbeach, on the roof of the Mizbeach. So he says, Rabbi Yosem Kilun Shchatim V'Tzafin. It's as if he shachted in the tzafin side and of the Azara, and it's kosher. That's where you're allowed to shach kotche kotchim on tzafin. Rabbi Yosem Rabbi Yehuda Imam Mechatzei HaMizbeach Uledarim Kidarim. Here's tzafin, you see, and this is darim. Okay. So he says up to the half of Mizbeach till darim. I mean, from the darim is the middle of the heichal, the middle of the Mizbeach. So from the middle of Mizbeach to darim, that's darim. From the middle of Mizbeach towards this, tzafin on the top. So he said, of the Azara, and the kotchim that would have been geschachten on this half of the Mizbeach, possible. Only if it's on this half of the Mizbeach by tzafin, would be kosher on the top. Rabbi Yosef Rabbi Yehuda says, "Mechatzi hamizbeach l'darim, kidarim, mechatzi hamizbeach l'tzafin, kitzafin." That's it. So you have two Rabbi Yosis. You have Rabbi Yosi Oima Stam, and I looked on Nun Test. Who's Rabbi Yosi Stam? Yeah, where's Rabbi Yosi Stam? Oh, Shalom Aleichem. 420, 520, 515. So he says over here, Rabbi Yosi ben Chalifta. Yeah, no, that's Rabbi Yosi Aglili. This is Rabbi Yosi ben Chalafta. Stam Rabbi Yosi is Rabbi Yosi ben Chalafta. Azay stated from Nun Chesam and Beis. So you have a machlekes between Rabbi Yosi. I'm saying it over for Rabbi Greisman. It's a new Perek Kotche Kotchim. We learned that if instead of the normal place to be to shecht Kotche Kotchim was on the tzafin side on the floor. Under the Mishnah, yeah. Keep that picture for yourself, and I sent you a picture that it should help also on your WhatsApp. Okay, so he says Kotche Kotchim normally is on the tzafin side of the Mizbeach. If you look in this picture, this is tzafin. You have tzafin, and if he shachted on top of the Mizbeach, mamish on the top. So according to the Rabbi Yosi says it has a din like the tzafin of the Mizbeach. Rabbi Yehuda argues, he says the Mizbeach itself, which was 32 amas, was split in half. Half was on the tzafin side, and half belonged to the darim side. So on the tzafin side, you're allowed to be makriv, oila, chatas, those that are kodesh kotchim. But to the darim side, like a shlomim, the kotchim kalm, you're allowed to shecht over there. Sagt die Gemara, Amar Avasi, Rabbi Yechnan. Avasi said the name of Rabbi Yechnan. Oima here Rabbi Yosi. Rabbi Yosi would say, Kulei Mizbeach with tzafin koi, that the whole Mizbeach was on the tzafin side. Ma is affecting Gemara. Why does the Mishnah say when he shechts the carbon agag Mizbeach? It's ki'ilu. Why ki'ilu? It's mamish. It's mamish safin. I would have thought to say binan al yerach. It says on the side of the Mizbeach. Al Yerech. Where is Al Yerech from floor? From pole. He has to be standing on the floor. That's where he has to shech the carbon. Not on the Mizbeach. That's what I thought. When he's on the Mizbeach, he's not on the floor. He's not Al Yerech on the side of the Mizbeach. The lake, there isn't, because on the side would mean he's standing on the floor. Kamash Malan. That's why the Mishnah comes and tells us it's Ki'ilu, even though it says Al Yerech. If he did Al Gag HaMizbeach, it has the same din like Yerech, that it's softened. According to you, Rabbi Yosef Rabbi Yehuda, who says that Mizbeach is split in half. Half is 32 amas, 16 amas the tzafin, and the 16 to darim. You're going to learn Taka? The part of the Mizbeach belongs to tzafin and part to darim. You're saying that's how it's based? If you're going to say, yeah, that's the Pshat, you, Ravasi, said already, in the name of Rabbi Yechnan, that Rabbi Yosef, Rabbi Yehuda, Shem Shchaton, Kinegdon, that Rabbi Yechnan said If you shechted under the mizbeach, it's possible. Because it's not considered as tzafin. You just said on the top of the mizbeach, if he shechts it, perfect, it's tzafin. Under the mizbeach, it's not tzafin. What happened? Is it tzafin or it's not tzafin? Amalei, he says you're right. It's not like we're not. Rabbi Yochanan didn't learn that when it says Bereish HaMizbeach is nishchat b'tzafin, hasteless that it's mamash and tzafin. No, they're only arguing how to darshan the pasuk when it says Mizbech Hadam Tasali. I'm going to say the rest of the pasuk. The rest of the pasuk says here inside, V'zavachta alav es oileisecha ve'esh lamecha. So this pasuk teaches us alav even on the mizbeach itself. You could shech tzai oiles, which is kachim, and tzai shlamim, which is kachim kalim. And Rabbi Yosef, Rabbi Yehuda, meaning Rabbi Yosef ben Chalafta, and Rabbi Yosef, Rabbi Yehuda are arguing, how do we have to explain this pasuk? How do we learn this pasuk? Rabbi Yosef says the kavanah of the pasuk is when it says v'zavachta alav the oilas undishlamim kulei means the whole mizbeach is kosher la'oila. The kulei and the whole mizbeach is kosher l'shlamim. That's how Rabbi Yosef ben Chalafta learns. But Rabbi Yosef ben Yehuda Sava, no chetze. The first half, the 16 ames of the beginning of mizbeach belongs to the tzafin. That you could shach kachim because kachim was only allowed to be geshacht in the tzafin. The chetze and the second half going towards darim has a din like darim where you can shach kachim ishlamim. No, that was only with the evet. He says normally you would shach after the mizbeach. The mizbeach, the line of the mizbeach here, it starts. So there's argument. Does tzafin start here or does it start in the middle? Right. But where did they normally shecht it? After the mizbeach, this whole tzafin side.
Okay, this whole area.
Only the tzafin side.
Yeah,
kachim.
They had the rings on the floor.
Right, that's the tzafin part. But kachim kalim, we learned yesterday, all over the Azara. The 137 by 135 by 187, that whole area was good for kachim kalim. Okay, Zakti Imara, we're back. I'm going to say, one second. So, what I just missed out the piece of Gemara. 1 minute. So that's what they were arguing. If the whole Rabbi Yosef ben Chalaf the whole that the whole mizbeach was on top of the whole mizbeach was able to be used side for kachim and side for kachim kalim, side for oilas and shlamim. Oilas is kachim and shlamim is kachim kalim. And Rabbi Yehuda said no, oilas is only on one half. Because that's kachim. It can only be used, but tzafin. Shlamim is from the danim and baita. So the Gemara, he's halkedai the kulalei kasha. Now the Gemara is explaining why Rabbi Yosef, Rabbi Yehuda explains that it was half. So he says we can't say it was kulei. The whole mizbeach was able to be used side for the oila and side for the shlamim. Because Rabbi Yosef, if that's what Rabbi Yosef holds, Rabbi Yosef, Rabbi Yehuda says it cannot be. Why would the pasuk have to talk about shlamim? I'm going to say it outside first. I'll make if for kachim, which is only allowed to be geshachten in one place in tzafin, you still allowed it to be geshachten on the whole mizbeach. Shlamim, where it could be geshachten all over the azara, for sure the whole mizbeach would be good. Why does he say v'eshlamecha? Obviously, he's coming to tell you something that it's only half. The first half is kachim. The one that's facing tzafin, that half facing tzafin is kachim, oiles, and the other half is kachim kalim. I'm going to say it inside. These how could I kulaylam kasha? If you're going to say that the whole mizbeach is good for the oila, so why do I have to mention shlamim? Hashtag kulaylam kasha. If the whole mizbeach is good for the shchitas oila, kulay shlamim mibaya for sure because. We learned yesterday it's kosher on the 187 by 135. All over it's kosher. Says the Gemara, okay, I hear you. So Ve'idach, what about Rabbi Yosi ben Chalafta, who says the whole top of the Mizbeach was used side for the Eila, side for the Shlamim? Why does the pasuk have to say Shlamecha? It's a Kal V'Chema. Says the Gemara, it's a Chaimira. It's Alkadat Chamira. I would have thought to say Eilahu, the Dach like Makim. Eila has only a limited space where it can be shachtan, only on Safin side. So sometimes there's a lot of Eilas come together. So we allotted them the top of the Mizbeach.
It's a big behemoth.
So Joni, no, many people come with Eilas. So there's a whole line of people coming with Eilas or Chatas. There's no more room because they can only do it in the Tzaf side. So they gave them the top of the Mizbeach. But for Shlamim, no, I would say no, because they have the whole Hazara all over. Why use the top of the Mizbeach? So Abu Shlamim, the loy dach like makim, but the Shlamim that has so many other places where you could check. I would say, don't use the top of the Mizbeach. We need that for the Eilum, and it's all overloaded.
Even though you're allowed to.
You're allowed to check over there.
No, we want to say a Shlamim shouldn't be allowed to because the Eila needs it. Eila is so limited in the space. Kamash Mallah, no.
But let's say you don't have a whole bunch of boilers that day.
Okay, versteht's it, but we're saying when it's overloaded, we want to make it. This is designated for the Eila. That's it, because Eila has so limited space to it to shechted. Kamash Mallah, no, that's not the halacha. The halacha is you could still bring shlam. That's what the pasuk says. Shlamecha. Yeah, Zevachim Allah. Okay.
That's the chiddush.
Yeah, it's the chiddush. That's why you have to say Shlamecha. Go from Memphri Geland. Amar Rabbi Yechlan. Rabbi Asi. Rabbi Yechlan. Rabbi Yosef. Rabbi Yehuda. Rabbi Yosef. Rabbi Yehuda, who says that the Mizbeach is split in half. Shim shchot and kenegel and karka. If you did it on the bottom of the Mizbeach, psulis, it's puzzle, right? So we explain that with this machlekes, how Rabbi Yechlan learned, right, is not totally in the karka. It's totally in the psukim, how you learn the psukim, right? But Ravasi said that if it's on the v'hadaya, it's not totally it's not totally in the space. Of course, really, I could say the whole mizbeach is in Dodim. V'hadaya on the top of the mizbeach you could shecht, but if you shecht it under the mizbeach, it will be puzzle. Obviously, it's still part of Dodim. Oh, that's what the Gemara is talking about. So the Gemara said that's what we said before. So we have a kasha shim shchot and keneg b'karka psules. We learned before that on top of the mizbeach he said it's kasha, but if he shechted on the ground under the mizbeach,
What, there was space?
we have to find out. It's psules. My keneg b'karka. What are you talking about? Where? How are you going to be? It was built on earth. It was made from earth. Where are you going?
There's no space.
No space. It wasn't on stilts. The mizbeach. There's no tunnel on the mizbeach, like in 770 tunnels. No, I'm just saying. So he says no. My connecting makaka. What do you mean makaka? In layman, if you're going to say Ama, you say Ama say, you're going to talk about. He means to exclude the base of the mizbeach. Remember, we had the base, and then you had the ledge. Remember on the here, you have the base. Is this is the base, and the ledge is this one. You see, so if you're going to say if he shachted on the ledge or on the base of the mizbeach, so then then it's going to be puzzle. That's what you mean. He says no way. Hakuf mizbeach. That's part of the mizbeach. It's not under the mizbeach. That's the mizbeach itself. My connected karka. And what does it mean? That big karka. It's not big karka. It's connect them corresponding that area on the top. Big karka. Where's the karka? If he's on the mizbeach. What?
How many kabbalas could we bring on top of the mizbeach? If it says it's 28 by 28, here in this picture.
No, it's 32 by 30. Oh, you mean because we took off the amas from the yesod and the base?
Yeah, so how many behemoths can you shecht at one time?
Quite a few. It's that's 64 amas. This is 3 times the size over here, maybe 4 times. 60 feet by 60 feet.
Oh, because
say 30 by 30, 60 feet by 60 feet. It's a big space.
How big is
Like
the
one
building?
of it.
How big is the building?
No, this is 18 by 60, maybe.
And then it's 60 by 60.
That's 60 by 60. So,
So you have this kind of space going this way also.
so 4 houses that
That
way.
was a bigger business man.
Well,
right?
sure.
You
Okay.
always think it's a small little area.
No,
It's
no.
like right, Shepherd.
Like-
Which are other damen.
Who's the one coming in next to?
770. You're not going to find it. Yeah. Aber von mir kannst du kommen 5:15. Du kannst gleich kommen nach München. Kannst dich wegsetzen neben mir. The Chita, my nephew, going to say that Mechila is that he made that they had tunnels, bekarka in the ground, and they shachted under the Mizbeach in a tunnel. Such a case, it wouldn't be a Mizbeach. Because it says, under the Mizbeach, you were not allowed to have tunnels. It had to be solid ground through and through, down and down. Tanya, we learned in the Baisa. Mizbach Adama Tasali, Shehei Mechub Ma'adama. Meaning that the Mizbeach has to be mechuba, connected to earth. You cannot build it over tunnels, but lo yagabe keep it and not over arches like you have in Eretz Yisrael. You have arches built over arches. So he says. So you can say you're talking about that there was tunnels under the Mizbeach. It says the Gemara, over here, it's talking about the Batzudei. Really, the Mizbeach was 32 by 32. But they that you could have had it, but you can make it smaller. The statement in the Torah said you can make it as small as you want. So he made it smaller. So when he made it smaller, there was a makan panui where the Mizbeach should have been. So that area where the Mizbeach should have been, that's possible.
How do you get the dimension that has to be 32?
Oh, that's I don't know where the limit is. It says
How do you
32
say
by.
if you make it
We're learning
smaller,
about-
it's considered part of his bed?
It's no.
So they
If you
could
make
make
it
it-
smaller, so that's the floor of where the Mizbeach could have been. So that floor you cannot check. That part of the floor. That if you make the Mizbeach smaller. Does it make sense that Yechlin established like Rabbi Yossi? He says, where do we see? Rabbi Yechlin says, according to Rabbi Yossi, the whole Mizbeach stood in the tzafin of the Hazara, in the north of the Hazara. I'm talking about Rabbi Yochanan. I mean, according to Rabbi Yochanan,
This picture's according to who? It's not a true picture. Everybody
No.
goes like this.
this is not fully in tzafin. Why? Tzafin would not be wouldn't be mamish against the entrance. Tzafin would be right at the end of the entrance of the ulam. Okay. Anyway, let's go further. So Yamada, where do you know that the whole Mizbeach was here in Safin, fully in Safin, according to Rabbi Yossi, by this area? This part was here. How do we know? So he says, Nafak, Duck, he says, look, I didn't see that anywhere. Where do you see that? Nafak, so he went up, Zeta went out, Duck, and he started to learn the Mishnah, all the Mishnayos. The Ashkach, and he found Taka, the Tanam, we learned in the Mishnah and Talmud. So now we're going to go through a whole Amid that's going to talk about the fires that were, one fire that was on the Mizbeach. There were three fires. There was, first of all, you had with a fire where they burnt the imunim. You have a pen? I'll put it in the Gemara. No problem. You had three fires. Here. I'll make a picture of the fire. Here is where they did the imunim. Okay? Over here, they had, so that's where they did the imunim. Not there, I'm sorry. Over here, they, let me put an X.
The patches.
No, okay, here is where they used the coals for the ketores. And it was 4 amas away. And here was a ner tamid. Again, and over here was the ashes, a pile of ashes. Okay?
Well,
Here-
on the Mizbeach?
On the Mizbeach, there was a ner tamid over here. So here, right here. Here was, again, they burnt the imunim. The main thing you want to know is about here, the fires of that they used to burn, they used these coals to bring it in the Mizbeach HaPnimi to burn the ketores. Or there were the Bezichei HaShulchan that they had the spices, 2 spoons of spices, every Shabbos they would eat the chalas from the shulchan. But before they could eat the chalas from the shulchan, they would have to take the 2 spoons of spices that were on the shulchan, bring it to here, and burn it. Okay? Oh, I'm sorry. Okay, so here he says it was 4 amos away. We're going to see. We're going to talk about that fire, the fire with the coals. So Yemada Nafak, dog. Rabbi Zeta went out and he found the Mishnah. What does it say? Beited Umisham. They chose from the room where the wood was, very special wood. Atzetena Yafim. Fig branches, which were very good for fire. In order to set up the second fire, not the fire from the Emunim, but this fire for the Ketores, the coals that they should have coals. Keneged, where was it? Keneged Maravis Dreimes. You see, I put it here. This is Maravis because this is the Ma'ariv side of the Mizbeach. This is the Mizrach side of the Mizbeach. Where was it? By the western. Right. So that's exactly. So over here, by the Maravis Dreimes, that's where they have that little box that they place the wood to make coals over there to be able to burn take a shovel from the coals there to bring it inside the heichel to burn the ketores. Okay, it was connected to Maravis Dreimes. Okay, weiter. So you want to mashuch min hakeren klapitzaf arba ames. It was 4 ames towards Sofin. You see, it was Maravis Dreimes, right? But you had to go. Let's say it would have been in the corner officially, so they moved it away from the corner 4 ames towards Sofin, away from the corner. So Baruch Hashem, I made the picture not on the corner. I made it like 4 ames away from the corner. So it went a merchak of 4 ames. Ubishabes. Okay, Behemoth, how much wood would they have to bring? That if it's burned, you would be left over chamish soyin gecholim, 5 saw of coals. And Rashi says the reason for a lot of coals. Why? Because they took a machta, a shovel, a silver machta. It had to be able to take a saw at a time. So it should come out berevach, a full shovel. If they have so little, they have to be scraping all over the place. So they had 5. Those I'm berevach. Ubishabes shmeina baimed shmeina soyin gecholim. On Shabbos they had the 8 burned much more wood. That there should be 3 more saw, meaning 8 saw.
So Shabbos had a bigger fire.
A bigger fire. Why? He says because aside.
They prepared it before Shabbos.
Yeah, they prepared for Shabbos. Why they need 8? That it should turn into 8 yecholim? Because aside from using the coals to bring it inside the mizbeach hapnimi to burn the ketores, they also needed it for the. You remember I told you the 2 spoons that were on the lachem aponim. Yeah. In order to eat the lechem from the shulchan, they had to bring those 2 spoons and to burn those ketores too. It was called ketores also. Frankincense it was called, and they brought it those 2 full spoons or big spoons. So you needed more fire. So that's why they had 8 gecholim on a Shabbos.
And they put Shabbos on the fire.
Yeah, that's not lacha. Yeah. On Shabbos, in order to eat the bread, they had to first take those 2 spoons to be able to eat the lachem aponim. Yeah.
They do everything there on
Shabbos. So what was the siman? Meaning that we want to prove that from here that the coals. That fire was right by the 4 amas away from the corner. How? He says, what's the siman? He says that it was a distance of 4 amas from the corner. He says, it's Rabbi Yossi. The Tanya Rabbi learned in the Braisa. Rabbi Yossi zeh siman kol hanitum mebifnim linas bachutz ein neisen al makma samuch. Okay? She'ein lifnim. That there's no more inner than that. So this is the siman. He says anything that's taken from the inside. What is something that's taken from the inside? So we'll say the ketores. The ketores is taken from the inside, and it's brought outside, but outside closest to the inside of the heichal. And anything that's taken from the outside, like what's taken from the outside, you remember we take the coals from the outside to bring it in to burn the potatoes inside. So that also, linasim lifnim, it has to be closest to the heichel, inside the entrance of the heichel. It has to be close to the tzad pnim of the heichel. She'ein lifnim, that there's nothing closer than that. Says the Gemara, what's the pshat? Kol anitam lifnim linas machutz. What does it mean? Anything that's taken from the inside of the mizbech achitzain to be put outside. What is the pshat? Says the Gemara, if you're talking about the leftover blood that you took from inside, because there was no yisad in the mizbech hapnimi. So what would they do with the karbanis from the mizbech hapnimi? The blood. What would they do with the blood? They would bring it to the mizbech hachitzay. So where would they pour it? Right there by the Reimis Mizachis on the Yisad. Says Iman, I don't need the pussy.
As soon as they walk out, they would go turn right.
As soon as they would, no. So according to this shot, we want to say it was right in the center. It was right in front of them. They walked out and just dropped it there. So it says Gemara, how can? So we want to know, what did they take from inside and put it right away when they met the mizbeach on the floor? What was it? So the Gemara wants to say it was the blood that they of the kabbanis that they had, the leftover blood that they had in the mizbeach hapnimi.
What were they making in the pnimi? Which we call
Chatas hapnimi, the par helam dava.
that was done on every Shabbos.
No, we're not talking about Shabbos. We're talking about now. Stop.
Whatever it was, they had to be done.
So we right. So what does it mean?
You didn't have
But
to
he
do
says
it.
right. But he says, what does it mean? Nitel b'fnim. Huh? That's given a Yom Kippur part. Yeah. Kol anitu b'fnim linos machutz. What's the nit b'fnim? That you made a rule. This is sounding you're making a rule because it doesn't say in the Torah. It says behedek sibahu. There, b'negei to Shirayim, it says b'feidish in the Torah. Yisod mizchay las asher pesach yomeid. That you have to take the blood that of the kabbanis that were in the mizbech hapnimi and place it on the pesach yomeid. So what was it? It doesn't make sense. And I have another kasha on the other klal that you gave. Kol anitel bachutz, anything that's taken from the outside, linasim b'fnim, to be brought inside. Ma'inu, what is that? If you're going to say gechol shel yom kippurim, that they took the coals, the coals of the mizbech hachitzah, to bring it inside, to burn the ketayas for yom kippurim. You don't have to make a rule for that. There too it says b'feidish hapasik. V'lokach meloy hamachta kach leish lifnei Hashem. Ma'al hamizbech lifnei Hashem. So lifnei Hashem means right by in front of the Pesach of the Yomayit. So I don't. What is this rule? Why are you making two rules? So he says, the rule was like this. What was what's the case? So anything that was taken from inside to be put outside. He's talking about what was taken from the inside, not the shirayim. Shirayim, the Torah says befeidish that it has to be by the Pesach Yomayit. That's where it has to be poured. That by the mizbeach, which is right, samach lepesach yomeid. So what is he referring to? The bezichit, the 2 spoons of frankincense, the 2 spoons of ketores that were mated the people to eat the lach maponim. Shnei bezich levanu shalach maponim. And how do we know it has to be by that part of the mizbeach? It has to be burnt by the fire that's closest, and the fire has to be closest to the oil mayed. Because
that was taken from the inside and
brought outside. And not the Shirayim, because Shirayim you have a pasuk about the beziche of the shulchan. It doesn't say the shnei beziche of the shulchan. Doesn't say the government of Shirayim, but we learn now the klal that it has to be right next to the entrance of the oil mayed. That we learn out from Shirayim. And what's the case of anit bechutz livnasim b'fnim? What is the taking out from outside, bringing inside? So we thought it's taking the coals to burn the ketores on Yom Kippur. He said that we have Lefnei Hashem. He says no. It's referring to the coals that they took every day, and it was placed on the mizbech hapnimi in order to burn the ketores shel shachris and the ketores shel bein habayim. He wasn't referring to the Gecholim Shel Yom Kippurim. You're right.
The Titus from the morning
At
and
night was used with the coals in the Pnimi, but it was used with the Gecholim for the Mizbeach HaChitzon, which was Samach LePesach. It had to be Samach LePesach. How do we know it has to be Samach LePesach? The government. That rule is the government Gecholim Shel Yom Kippurim. We learn out from the coals that was used on Yom Kippur to burn. The Titus of Yom Kippur had to be Samach LePesach. So too, we say those Titus that they burnt in the morning and in the evening had to come from the Gecholim that was Samach LePesach Yom Kippur. In fact, my Kasava says, what did Rabbi Yossi think? Where is going to be? Where is that fire going to be? It has to be right next to the Oyel Meir. If you're going to think that the whole Mizbeach was V'darim, so Esem Sheva B'Yilamesei, then you would need 27 amis. Now let me show you. You have the picture, but I'll show you the picture over here. If the Mizbeach was here in Darim, right? Here's the entrance. If the end of the Mizbeach finished at this line, if you have a pencil, I would do it. I'll make a line on it. You have a pencil?
Yeah.
Oh, perfect. If I wouldn't know, I would.
That's safer. That's everything.
Okay. That's a pen.
You want a pencil?
A pencil. That's a pencil?
Finish with pencil.
That's a pen. Okay. Okay, so if this Mizbeach, the Mizbeach would have to end over here. Meaning, this is fine. Okay, yeah. That's why it's a pencil, you're right. So if this part of the Mizbeach would be here, right? Because you're saying the end of the Mizbeach has to be by the middle of, oh, this is not the center, this is the center, I'm sorry. This is the center. So the Mizbeach, the whole Mizbeach had to finish by this line, you see?
Yeah, okay.
So in order to have it by the center, if the whole Mizbeach was here, if the whole Mizbeach, meaning the end of the Mizbeach was on Darim, so this would, only the edge would be by the entrance, right?
Okay.
Meaning the edge, not the entrance, by the center of the entrance. From the center, this was 10 amis.
So the end piece.
This is 5 and this is 5, right? So by the middle between the two 5s would be the end of the Mizbeach. So you would minus 5 because you would at least have this facing here. So in order to go there, if the Mizbeach was here, right here, and you had 32, so you do 32 minus 5, 27. So you would have to bring up this fire 27 amas that it should be next to the center. Not 4 amas. You said he only has to move it 4 amas from the corner to be next to the center. But if the whole thing was in Darim, you would have to bring it. You would have to bring it 27 amas. Okay, says the Gemara. Okay, it says if you're going to say the Heichel and the Ulam are the same, so the Ulam had an entrance of 20 amas, not 10 amas. So you would have to, so it's Esmetate by Lamese. So you could only deduct 10 amas. If you deduct 10 amas from the middle of the Ulam, so you would have to count 22 amas. Instead of 27, it would be 22. And if you're going to say that the Mizbeach was middle, so it was half was Tzaf and half was Darim. So from the Darim side, you had left over 16. So if from the Darim side you have left over 16, so you have 16 minus 5, Chatzrei, it should have been 11. Or you're going to rather you're going to hold Kedusha Heichel Ulam Chada Milsi. Only you're going to say that Kedusha's Heichel and the Ulam is one thing, that it's the same kedusha, and the ulam had 20 ames, so 10 ames was on the side of the darim. So now what do? You deduct 10 from 16, and she's by lamese, so he should have to go 6 ames away, 6 ames away from the corner, not just 4. The width of the ulam, the entrance of the ulam was 20 amas.
This whole area was 20 amas?
this entrance was 20 amas.
Which end?
This entrance was 10 and 10. This entrance was 5 and 5.
Oh, but how wide was the ulam itself?
The ulam was wider than the heichal. I don't remember.
Oh, so this is okay. So you're
Okay.
talking about then. You're talking about
The entrance, the entrance,
entrances,
right.
Not the whole length of the ulam.
Right. Frank, you might have me sabes hani abba hamis v'hadi amo. Me sabes hani abba amis v'hadi amo yisoid v'ama seviv. Do you think these 4 amis are including the amma of the base and the amma of the ledge? That was 6 amas from the floor. Abba amis bar me amma yisoid v'ama seviv. He says you have to exclude 1 amma from the yisoid, and you have to exclude 1 amma from the seviv, and that's how you have 4 amas. So, let us. I'm sorry, let us establish like Rabbi Yossi uva memutza, and say it's talking about in the middle, mamish in the middle. Says the meaning that the mizbeach stood in the middle. That means 16 amas was towards Darim, and 16 amas was towards Darim, and to get to the even to the edge of the entrance, the edge of the entrance of the Heichal, you would have to deduct 5 amas, right? But we're saying we're going to go against the edge of the ulam, which is 10 amas. 10 amas minus 16 is 6, and it would be perfect. You don't have to say the whole thing was on the tzafin side, and it's 10 amas less. He's saying that the 4 amas that we mentioned in the Mishnah, right? Before we said that it was what? 4 amas with the Yisoid and with the Soive. Okay? Let me see where we're up to. Oh, we have to be. And okay, so when you distance yourself 4 amas from the south of the Reish HaMizbeach, so you see you distance yourself 6 amas, but I think I missed one part. I have to go back to. I missed out. We have to go back to Elalav. Elalav mishum the kasava kulam mizbeich with sofenkai. Only we have to say the whole mizbeich was on the sofen. Mahani abba amis, and what is the 4 amis? If the whole mizbeich was on sofen, are you listening? If the whole mizbeich was on sofen, so you have like this. He says you have amma yisoid, the amma soigav. You have the amma of the foundation, the base of the mizbeach, and then you had the ledge, which was an amma, and then you had another amma of the place of the krones, and the amma mekain ragla kahanim. So really, when you were mamish betzafin, if the bottom one was betzafin over here, so you had to have on the tzafin side of the mizbeach, if it was at the kitzei of the heichal, you had only 5 amas till the kitzei of the ulam, but you moved it 4 amas. You only had 4 amas to move it. 1 amma you counted from the yisod, 1 amma you counted from the ledge, 1 amma you counted for the keren. The keren was an amma. Every corner had an amma. You see, this keren was an amma, and then you needed around the maracha space for the ragla kahana to go around. That was a 4th amma. So that's, and you couldn't give misagil lekamei tveyim. If you want to go even further, suleka pesach, it's impossible. Then you'll be passing the entrance. Again, Rabbi Yehudi is Rabbi Yehuda, the Tanya that we learned from Abraisa. Rabbi Yehuda imam mizbeich memutza. Mizbeich was in the middle. Stood in the middle of the Azara. Ushleishim shtayim amas hoyeloi, and there were 32 amas. Es amas connect pischei shel heichal. 10 amas was against the entrance of the heichal. Achas esei amo mikan, achas esei amo mikan. You have 11 from each side. So we find that the mizbeich was exactly against the heichal. We'll stop here a second. Above the white lines on Nun Ches Amud Beis, 5 lines above it. We're going to chaza over one more time. Now that I showed you the diagrams, we're going to take it from here. Fact the Gemara, my kasava. What was Rabbi Yosi thinking?
What do you mean,
Where was the Mizbeach situated that we should say that the fire was the fire that burned the potatoes, the gecholim that was used for burning the potatoes? Where was it situated? In order to say that it was a distance of 4 amas from the corner, I'm going to have to tell you that the whole Mizbeach was on the tzafin side. Because if you're going to say that the whole Mizbeach was on Dorim, okay, we're going to learn now. Here's the Mizbeach on Dorim. So if you're going to say it's on Dorim, so let's go weiter. Then Esim B'Sheva B'Ila Mesi. If you're looking at the Heichal, the Mizbeach is in Dorim, right? The Mizbeach was in the middle of the Heichal. The entrance of the Heichal was 5 amas. The entrance, 5 amas, 10 amas. But if it's in the center, and the whole Mizbeach is on the Dorim, so you have 5 amas of the Heichal, right? Because you count from the center towards Dorim. That was the square of the Mizbeach, right? The Mizbeach started at the center of the Heichal. That means 5 amas.
But what is this area?
No, this is the Mizbeach right next to the Ulam.
This is the entrance to Ulam was 20.
This is the entrance of the Ulam. That was 20.
But you want to have this toward the center.
This is Mamish in the center.
Okay.
Or the center of the Heichal.
Yeah,
So how much space of this Mizbeach does it take up from the Heichal? Does it face the Heichal? 5 amas.
Okay.
Right? 5 amas.
Okay.
But the whole Mizbeach was 32 amas long.
Okay.
So in order to bring the fire to the center,
You had to go 27.
you had to go 27. In order to bring the fire from this corner to the center, you would have to go at least 27, at least to hit the edge.
Oh, in other words, at
So
least
27.
So you can make to get to the mamish to the middle, you'd have to go to 32. But if you want to just get to the beginning,
you would minus 5, you would have 27. Okay? You would have to go 27. If you're going to say the kedusha of the entrance of the ulam had the same kedusha as the heichal, so then you would take from 32 and you'll deduct 10 because you'll want to be at the edge, right? So 10 minus 32 would be how much? 22. So he has the same kedusha as a mitarte
you made lines already all over the place.
That's how I learn. I go over it. So he says
You made
then.
that this morning?
Yeah. Asimitesha.
What time did you start?
8 o'clock. So he says asimitesha. I know. Asimitesha with Zalm. 22 amas you would need. So then it's only, you see, it says asimitarte by Mesa. Then you would only need 22 amas. Now we're going to this one. If you're going to say the Mizbeach was a middle, mamash in the middle, so let's cut the Mizbeach in half, 16 and 16. So we got a problem. This is the officially where the fire is. So now 16 minus 5. How much is 16 minus 5? If you want to be this fire, you want to bring the fire to the edge of the entrance of the Heichal, 16 minus 5 would be 11. So he says, if it was mamish in the middle, it should have been 11 amas left. So rather, you're going to say the entrance of the Heichal is just as holy as that. So we'll deduct 10 from 16, and how much will
He
we?
doesn't have to bring it all the way
To the Heichal,
only to the
entrance of the Ulam. No, only to the entrance of the Ulam. Because the entrance of the Ulam was wider.
No, he doesn't have to bring it to the entrance.
He doesn't have to bring it to this entrance. He can bring it even to this entrance. So then it's 10. So it's 10 amas you could deduct from the 16, and you would only have to move up from the corner 6. That's what he's saying. So you would have to bring it up 6, but it's still not 4. Says the Gemara, mishum the Amar kulam mizbeach b'tzafin. Only you have to say that the whole mizbeach was in tzafin. Here's that picture. From the center, you hear?
I'm listening.
And Santa is Safin. So you have 32. You can mine it. You can go up to 4 amis, because you have 5 amis in the heichal. So you have 5 amis. You only have to go 4. How? And he says it's not even going to. It's 4. The whole mizbeach wasn't suffering. V'hani arba amis, and these 4 amis was like this. Amma yisoid. Amma went for the foundation, the base of the mizbeach. The Amma Seviv, and 1 Amma went for the ledge that went around the whole mizbeach. The Amma became kronis, and 1 Amma was used for the corner. The keren was an Amma. The Amma became ragla kanim. So really, Sachako, you moved on the top of the mizbeach only 2 Ammas. Okay.
So
It's 4 amis altogether. 4 amis. You're still in the entrance of the
The fire
heichal.
was mamish at the corner, right?
Fire's on the corner, but you only moved 4.
4 because you had to pass all these.
All these things. Okay. So it says if you go further, a little bit further, then sulay like a pesach. Then you're not facing the entrance. Okay. Rabbi Yehuda. Who's this following? Rabbi Yehuda. The Tanya, I could say it's Rabbi Yehuda. Rabbi Yehuda Ima, the Mizbeach was Mimutza. The Mizbeach was in the middle. Here, we'll go back to the middle. It was in the middle. Ushleishim shtayim ames hayulai, and there were 32 ames in the width. Okay? So 16 and 16. Es ames, kedeg piskei shel heichal, achas es amekam, achas es mekan. So you take away 10 ames. So 5 amas from each side you take away, so you have 11 amas on both sides. Okay? So you find that the Mizbeach was exactly facing the Heichal. Says Gemara Seif Rabbi Yehuda Chatzrei Beilamese. Even according to Rabbi Yehuda that the Mizbeach was in the middle, you would have to bring it up 11 amas. Because it was 10 amas, so divide it even. 16, take off 5, you have 11 to bring it up to the edge of the heichal. It's 16, this half. You say the mizbeach was in the middle. We're talking about it was the fire had to be the reimes maravis.
Okay.
But it has to be Keneged Pesach. Here it's not Keneged Pesach. Esht, where does it become Keneged Pesach? At the edge, 11 amas up. Because 5 amas was the heichal. So you could deduct from the 16.5, so you're left with 11. Says the Gemara, so he said, Rabbi Yehuda, say, but if you're going to say that this Kedusha, this big entrance is just as holy as that, so we can go 10 amas minus 16 and you'll have 6.
Yeah, okay.
So it says the Gemara, Mi Sabris Hani Abbas Bahadi Amma Yesod Amma Seviv. Do you think the 4 amas is including the base and the Yesod? No, he says Abba Amma is Ba Amma Yesod Abba Seviv. You have 4 amas on top of the
You're
mizbeach.
dealing with 6, so you take.
But you're taking off 2 because that 2 is not part of the top of the mizbeach.
The real actual.
It's not actual on the mizbeach. The top of the mizbeach.
Before we counted it, and now we don't count it.
So he says now it's mamish on top of the mizbeach. It's 4 amas. It's perfect. In fact, how do you know the whole mizbeach was all the way in the suffering? That's what you wanted to prove. You can learn like Rabbi Yehuda was in the middle. And the 4 amas is on the mizbeach itself, and the other 2 amas was outside. It was on the ledge, the base. So it says, he says, when he's saying a mishnah, you have to say like somebody who said it openly. Rabbi Yehuda said befeidish that the mizbeach was in the middle, but Rabbi Yosi, we don't have proof that he never said befeidish that it was all on the tzafin. That is why we can't use Rabbi Yosi.
He didn't say it was in the middle.
No, Rabbi Yehuda befeidish said it's in the middle.
Rabbi Yosi did not.
Rabbi Yosi didn't say it openly that it was all in the tzafin. So really, all in the tzafin makes a lot of sense. But we don't see that Rabbi Yosi said it befeidish, so that's why we're not saying it according to Rabbi Yosi.